Hello, people of the world. Once again, it's Josh here, and this is the Bible and an atheist point of view, where it's basically silly, ridiculous, kind of funny. And my point of view is basically this. Well, there's not really too much intelligent discussion. It's just basically me making jokes. Because I think the Bible's funny. What can I say? The way it's worded, it's hysterical. So, yeah, you might want to look somewhere else for Dawkins. This isn't it. Anyways, if you do just want a good laugh, stick around. I'll show you. It is funny. Now, before I read, I always have bumper music. Yeah, and I'm always keeping it funky. Alright, now, where I left off is Leviticus chapter 15. We're getting closer. Alright, the paraphrase is, discharges causing uncleanliness. Doesn't that kind of go hand in hand? A discharge isn't exactly clean. Alright, verse 1. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, speak to the Israelites and say to them, when any man has a bodily discharge... God, they discuss this shit? The discharge is unclean. No shit, that's why it's called a discharge. Verse 3, whether it continues flowing from his body or is blocked. Seriously, TMI. It will make him unclean. This is how his discharge will bring about uncleanliness. Well, quit having discharges. Or wipe or something. Put some gauze on it. Verse 4. Any bed the man with the discharge lies on will be unclean, and anything it sits on will be unclean. Well, don't let him sit on anything. Verse 5. Anyone who touches his bed must wash his clothes and bathe his water, and he will be unclean till evening. Because you can only stay dirty in the daylight. Whoever sits on anything that a man will, with a discharge sat on, must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean until evening. I cannot believe that. I just read the same thing, and I didn't read the same thing twice. It really repeats that shit twice in the same fucking paragraph. Verse 7. Whoever touches the man who has a discharge must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean till evening. Why the fuck would you want to touch this guy with this theoretical discharge? They don't even give too much. I mean, is it a pussy infection? Did he just take a shit? What? I mean, what the fuck is the discharge? Is this a metaphorical discharge? What the fuck? Verse 8, if a man with the discharge spits on someone who is clean, that bastard, I spit on you. Someone who is clean, that person must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean until evening. That's some pretty fucking mean-ass spit. Verse 9, everything the man sits on when writing will be unclean. How clean could that donkey have been to begin with? And whoever touches any of the things that were under him will be unclean till evening. It's always until evening. Fuck, what the shit is this? Nighttime is a neutral zone. Whoever picks up those things must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean until evening. Fucking evening shit. Verse 12, a clay pot that the man touches must be broken, and any wooden article is to be rinsed with water. What else are you going to use? Jello? Fucking kerosene? Verse 13, when a man is cleansed from his discharge. We're never going to know specifically what the discharge is. He is to count off 7 days for a ceremonial cleansing. Count them off. 1, 2. Where did I leave off? Oh yeah, he must wash his clothes and bathe himself with fresh water. Of course, it's going to be fresh. And he will be clean. On the 8th day he must take 2 doves or 2 young pigeons. Oh, here we go again with the pigeons. And come before the Lord to the entrance to the tent of meeting and give them to the priest. Then the priest would like a couple altar boys to go along with those pigeons that he's going to fuck. Okay, verse 15. Verse 15, the priest is to sacrifice them, the one for a sin offering, the other for a burnt offering. In this way he will make atonement before the Lord for the man because of his discharge. Verse 16, when a man has emission of semen... Semen in the Bible. Chapter 15, verse 16, Leviticus. Semen. Sperm, spues, jizz. He must bathe his whole body with water, and he will be unclean until evening. Basically, so whenever he pinches one off, he's been very bad and must be dirty all day. I would... Why didn't you stop with once? It's going to be dirty all day. Might as well go ahead and use it all day. Verse 17, any clothing or leather... Leather? God, how did he get the semen to get exactly discharged anyways? Any clothing or leather that has semen on it will be washed with water, and it will be unclean until evening. Gee, who gets that magic job? Laundry detail. You must wash the role-play clothes, and they will be unclean until evening. Verse 19, when a woman has a regular flow of blood... Alrighty then. When a woman is being a woman and has a regular flow of blood, the impurity of her monthly period will last 7 days, and anyone who touches her will be unclean until evening. Ooh, on the rag. Gross. Verse 20, anything she lies on during her period will be unclean, and anything she sits on will be unclean. Oh, here we go again. Man, you women were fucked in biblical times, man. You weren't allowed to do shit. Verse 21, whoever touches her bed must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean until evening. Whoever touches anything she sits on must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean until evening. Whether it is the bed or anything she was sitting on, when anyone touches it, he will be unclean until evening. Well, there's like a specific slaughters it just right when the sun says, you're all clean again, yeah. Verse 24, if a man lies with her and her monthly flow touches him, ooh, he will be unclean for 7 days, and any bed he lies on will be unclean. You gotta sleep on the floor, man. You fucked up. Verse 25, when a woman has a discharge of blood for many days at a time of her monthly period, or has a discharge that continues beyond her period, she will be unclean as long as she has the discharge, just as in the days of her period. So fucked up. Oh, God. Alright, verse 26, any bed she lies on while her discharge continues will be unclean, as is her bed during her monthly period, and anything she sits on will be unclean as during her period. Whoever touches them will be unclean, then he must wash his hands and bathe with water, and he will be unclean till evening. When again? I didn't quite get that one. Oh, the evening. Thanks. Verse 28. When she is cleansed from her discharge, she must count off 7 days. Oh, I didn't think women were allowed to count back then. She might realize she's not the only wife. And after she will be ceremonially clean. Ceremonially. Verse 29, on the 8th day she must take 2 dozen 2 pigeons, and who the fuck didn't see that one coming? And bring them to the priest at the entrance to the tent of meeting. The priest is to sacrifice one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. Of course. In this way he will make atonement for her before the Lord for the uncleanness of her discharge. It's a whole ceremony just because she's menstruating. The menstruation cycle ceremony. It is most holy. Oh, fuck. Verse 31, you must keep the Israelites separate from things that make them unclean. So they will not die in their uncleanness for defiling my dwelling place, which is among them. Verse 32, these are the regulations for a man without discharge. Again, for anyone made unclean by the emissions of semen. Please, thank you for repeating that. It wasn't funny enough the first time. For a woman in her monthly period, for a man or a woman with a discharge, and for a man who lies with a woman who is ceremonially unclean. Kids, this is Josh. Once again, this has been the Bible and an atheist point of view.